Hello and welcome to the first ever ladies football show with the 42 and the LGFA. My name's Emma Duffy, I'm your host for the day, and this is Jackie Cahill. Welcome, Jackie.
Thanks a lot, Emma. Good to be here.
Things? Great to have you. And we're joined on the line by the one, the only Cora Staunton over in Australia. Looking maybe a bit battered and bruised, but looking good as well.
How are you, Cora?
Not too bad. Hello, Emma and Jackie. Greetings from Sydney. Yeah, a little bit worse for wear, but yeah, no, all good. A few black eyes, but yeah, they'll be gone in a couple of days' time.
Exactly. Maybe we could kind of just start with the weekend, and I suppose you were telling us there offline that the nose is broken.
Yeah. So obviously it's well over the Irish media. From the weekend, we played Collingwood on Sunday afternoon in Melbourne, and so I think everyone has seen the tackle at this stage. Got an elbow to the nose, and I knew straight away once I got it, the elbow was broken. The medics tried to strap me up in a weird way to stop the bleeding for me to come back on. Yeah, so I seen a specialist. I got to fly back with the team on Sunday night, just about. Had to go to a hospital in Melbourne, so caught the flight around 9:05 and was going at 15:15. So seen a specialist in Sydney Monday morning, and then seen the chief medical officer of the club on Tuesday. So yeah, it's broken. Surely I knew myself. I didn't really need a specialist to tell me. So yeah, surgery will be required to fix it. But it's the fourth time I broke it now, so it's nothing major.
How long will you be out for with that, Cora? Or will you miss matches now?
I've been medically cleared to play at the weekend, so we're playing on Sunday. We're at home against the last year's champions in Adelaide, so I've been cleared. I'm hoping to have surgery when the season finishes, so sometime at the end of March.
Will you have some sort of protective mask? Will we see Cora and Zorro next weekend?
I'm going to go with nothing. So yeah, the club have obviously, I've been to a number of doctors. We have a team doctor, and then there's a chief medical officer over all the doctors, the men's doctor and the women's doctor and physios and everything. So I met her Tuesday morning. So yeah, no, she's happy for me to play with no protective mask. From her point of view, there's not much protection out of it. So yeah, if selected tomorrow evening, then yeah, I'll be playing on Sunday against Adelaide.
Good stuff, and I suppose it was a big hit, but you got the win in the end, first win of the year. Nice to get that too.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so it's been a difficult probably first three rounds. It's nice to get a win. Obviously round one went very well for us, and probably a game they were very unlucky to lose. Could have gone either way. We're probably on a little bit of a high, even though we lost after the round one, because Melbourne would be favourites for the competition. So round two is our first home match, and we'll be probably very disappointed with that against Carlton. But it ended up being, from all accounts, a very weird game. It stopped for 30 minutes because of the lightning, and then obviously the rain and stuff, which is obviously a lot different at home. But we just never got going after we had the 30-minute break for the lightning. So yeah, that was disappointing more so than any game. But yeah, it was good to get the win. So we're still not out of it. Mathematically we're still in. If we can win all our games, we can still make the grand final. So yeah, we can just take it one game at a time now. So Adelaide at home on Sunday is going to be a huge test. As I say, they're the favourites, won it last year, and probably have one of the best AFL players in the competition in Aaron Phillips, who's a former Olympic basketballer.
Good stuff. And I suppose then as well, that picture you posted with Sonia O'Sullivan afterwards, nice to meet her, and you kind of spoke about the inspiring words she had in the dressing room. Maybe you could kind of tell us a bit about that. Yeah,
I suppose, yeah. So Sonia had an article in the paper over here maybe less than 2 weeks ago, and I think it was in one of the papers also at home, how she'd been at the first AFLW match of the year involving Collingwood. So Sonia lives in Melbourne, not too far from the stadium. So she then sent me a message to say that she's going to be at the match on Sunday, and that I'd catch up with her after the match. And so I told her my brother and his wife and friends and his kids, my brother's kids, would be at the match, so that they'd introduce themselves to her. So she obviously watched the match, came with a couple of friends who were also Irish. So after the match then I caught up with Sonia and introduced Sonia to her coach, and Alan asked me to bring her down into the dressing room. It's kind of a tradition, once you win your match, family and friends are allowed to come into the dressing room after the match, and to sing the club's theme song. And so Sonia came in, and then when we sang the song, I introduced Sonia to the girls. A lot of them probably wouldn't know her over here. A couple of them did. And then Sonia spoke for a couple of minutes about the importance of, I suppose, women's sport, and the importance of team sport, that she never got the opportunity growing up to be involved in a team sport who wasn't there in Ireland, and spoke about how one of her first ever runs in Melbourne was at the stadium that we played at, where, she said 17,000 people came to watch her. That 17,000 people were at the meet, and she always remembers that there was a number of Irish there with an Irish flag on the day. And she said it was very reminiscent of what was there the last day, because her friends came with an Irish flag and had it at the match.
Sonia, will you give us a bar of the song?
I see. I don't know any of the words of it yet, so I just stand in the team huddle and pretend I'm singing it, but I don't really know it. My three nieces at home have it learned off, so they're trying to teach me over FaceTime the last couple of days.
Cora, just to finish off the conversation on what happened to you at the weekend, your assailant got, and we'll call her that, got a match. Can you explain the disciplinary process out there compared to what we have at home?
Yeah, so I suppose every Monday there's a review every Monday morning of anyone for any instance that might be reported by the match officials, or after video review might be reported. So in AFL you cannot get sent off on match days, so there's no yellow or red cards. So you don't get actually sent off, you're reported. So all matches are reviewed on Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon they come up with the people that are reported for striking or whatever it is. So in my case, the opponent that hit me, Sophie Casey, was reported for striking at a medium grade. So from that point of view, she was given a 2-match ban, and with an early plea she can get a 1-match ban if she please, which she did. But before that, they'd ring our team doctor to see what the update would have been on me and what exactly would have happened to me. So from that point of view, she'd have told her that my nose was broken and obviously not requiring surgery yet. So from that point of view, if I had surgery on Monday or was getting it on Tuesday, she'd have got a longer ban. Since I'm not having surgery now, she just got a shorter ban. Or at the time, if I'd been concussed or knocked out on the pitch, she'd have got a longer ban. So it's a very short season. So 1-match ban is probably a good bit, where if you get a 3-match ban, it's half the season gone. Where if it was in the men's game for something like that, they probably would have got a 4-match ban because their season spans 22 games.
Okay, what are your thoughts on all of that? Is that fair enough?
Well, it's hard to know. Yeah, obviously, like from talking to the girls on the team that know more than me, they think probably a 3-match ban was probably a thing that was a fair outcome. But these things happen. It's difficult at the time, when maybe I could have been out for the rest of the season and she's only missing a match. So you're obviously a bit annoyed, but you just have to kind of just forget about it. We've seen other girls have got a week's ban this week for a lot less, and she's getting the same as them. So yeah, it can be annoying at times, but I haven't let it get to me. All I'm worried about is trying to get back on the pitch as quickly as I can, and arguing with doctors and physios to get me on to the pitch back on as quickly as I can. And probably
some things never change, then, Cora.
Yeah, having a word or two to the specialist and the chief medical officer to make sure I can play again at the weekend. So yeah, you just don't about it. I don't know any of the girls over here, so you can't really hold gripes. If I seen her walking down the street or if playing another match, I probably wouldn't know her. All I know is she was number 23. I have no idea of anything after that.
And I suppose, Cora, maybe you could kind of take us through the last few weeks and kind of adjust into things over there, the physicality, different challenges. I read you did an interview and you spoke about like maybe a bit of frustration that you're kind of not learning things as quickly as you'd like to. Has that been a big change?
Yeah, I suppose that's probably one of the hardest things is, I suppose I've gone from maybe being at the top of my game in one sport to going into another sport where you're now at the bottom of it, which is quite hard. It's a whole mindset change. I suppose I'm walking into a different dressing room where I know no one, which was obviously hugely difficult. And I'm also going into a whole new culture. The Aussies are a lot different to the Irish, and their mindset and stuff, they're very, very different, and I tell them that every day of the week. So yeah, that can be quite frustrating to kind of fit into their mindset and not fit into their mindset. I have to try and be my own person too. So
when you talk about a mindset, Cora, are they more relaxed, or what is it?
Yeah, they're more. They're more about looking after yourself and recovering and not training, to the levels maybe that we train. Like, we train hard over here, but they're very much like when we're in season now, it's all about looking after yourself and minding yourself. And, I'm constantly arguing with physios. They're pulling me off because I'm doing too much training, or I'm out doing too much kicking. And it's very, very much monitored and looked after. And, that kind of way that I probably struggle with. We play... We got together on Monday, but we didn't do anything. It's just active recovery, and we retrain on Tuesday, and it's more active recovery and doing a little bit of weights and a small session. And I suppose we don't train properly again until Thursday. They're all about minding yourself, and yeah, that's probably the most difficult thing to get. And if you've any niggle or any injury, they want you off training. And they've got to know me quite quickly over here, especially the physios. That not that they let me do my own thing, but they kind of know that I know my own body over here now. And an odd time they might pull me from training, but majority of the time they kind of let me do what I want. But you're always being monitored. You don't get away from anything. There's no hiding, and that's even in regard. We'd say for training, every training session we do, we're videoed. It's videoed from 2 angles. Every training session we do, we're GPSed, and we've 10 different stats coming out of the GPS system. So you're in green if you're the highest, and you're in red if you're the lowest. So you never want to be in red. That's put up in the dressing room after every training session. So like small things like that, there's no hiding place. There's nowhere to get away from anything. You're being watched from every angle by a number of different people. We've a head coach, I suppose, and then he has probably another 7 coaches behind him. We've a physio, a masseuse, a dietitian, a psychologist, a liaison officer, if you want to call it, a player welfare officer, they call it over here. We've 2 stats people. We've about 4 or 5 first aiders. All these are at training. So we probably have a group of about 25 people at training that are ardent players. So you just don't get away with anything. And as I said, there's no hiding. So from that point of view, yeah, that can be difficult too. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. It is frustrating when you're trying to pick up things and you're not learning them as quickly as you can, and maybe you're going into drills a little bit more anxious than you would if you're at home. Okay. Especially kicking drills, you don't want to be the one making a mistake, but more than likely you're going to be the one making a mistake because you're not used to kicking a ball that's a different shape. So yeah, it's things like that. But at the same time, it's very frustrating. But it's hugely enjoyable trying to rise to the challenge.
And I suppose, like, you spoke as well about kind of you thought that you'd miss the football more than you actually do, and it's kind of reinvigorated you, giving you a new kind of lease of life. Do you miss the football? You have to.
You know what? I'm being truthfully honest. I haven't missed it that much. I haven't watched too much of it. I was lucky enough because the Mayo Galway match was on TG Cahill, so I got to watch it live over here, and it was a decent hour. So it was 11 o'clock our time when it was on here. So yeah, I stayed up to watch it. So maybe when I was watching that, yeah, there'd be a little bit of, yeah, I kind of miss it. And plus I took a club here in Sydney for a training session last weekend.
Michael Cusack's, yeah, we saw that, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, Michael Cusack. So
they
that was
well,
the first
Cora.
time. Yeah, they do. They always look. GA people always look after me. The only thing from that is there's been a couple of other clubs on to me now to take more sessions, but I don't mind that. Yeah, so when I suppose that was the first time I've touched a football since I've left in December, since the 3rd of December. So that was maybe the middle of February. So it's probably been well over 2 months. So yeah, when I went down and took that session, I was right back into it. But yeah, I haven't missed it a lot at all. I just think because this is such a huge challenge, and I'm over here, every day just going to train, and I don't have to work. I'm just, trying to make myself better at sport, and I'm in a very good club that look after you very well. They're very much all about family and looking after everyone, and I've an absolute superb coach. I couldn't speak highly enough of him. I've had many good coaches in GEA, and I've only known this man a couple of months, and he's certainly right up there with the top coaches that I've had and worked with. And when you're working with people like that, and they're pushing you all the time and trying to make you better. It's just very enjoyable. That's not to say when I go home, I won't be straight back into football and enjoying it. But at the moment, it's just a different challenge. It's something new, and I suppose it's probably not a drive to the arse and to carry a 4-hour trip on a bus in January. When you have this out here, it's probably a little bit different. Obviously miss the girls in the team and the teams, both club and county. But I'm in regular contact with them, through social media and through WhatsApp and that most days. So I know everything that's going on anyways.
Is that a little hint, Cora? You might be back? Might be back to us?
I might be back.
You'll be back in Ireland anyway, but I suppose a lot of people are asking, will wonder the question, will we see you in a Mayo shirt again?
Yeah, as I said, and I'm always been trying to be open and honest about it. I've had a couple of conversations with obviously Peter, who's our new Mayo manager, before I came out. Not too many, obviously, because the club took up priority and they ran up to the 3rd of December, and I left 2 days later. But there's been an odd text message here and there with him when I'm here, but he knows that I'll sit down and talk to him. I go home, I certainly meet with him. As I said, I have to see how the body is. It doesn't look too good at the moment, and how the mind is when I go home. As I said, I'll be due an operation over here before I leave. So I need a couple of weeks to recover from that, anyways. But from the point of view, I'm just going to have to see how I am physically and mentally when I go home. The decision won't be left long. I'll try and make the decision as quick as I can. I'm not going to let it linger. If I go back, I'll go back, in the first couple of weeks when I'm back in Ireland. But I'll probably try and go back and play a couple of club matches first and see how the motivation is for that. We'll have a couple of league matches, I'm sure, starting up kind of in April when I go back. Obviously, I certainly missed the club, going on a high and having to kind of leave 2 days later. It was very difficult, and they've had a lot of different celebration and awards and stuff that I've missed, and a couple of our club girls have got married in the meantime I'm over here, so all of that you miss. Decisions will be made. I'm not going to make it now. I'm going to make it when I go over. The season here is finished kind of the middle of March. I'll probably have a couple of weeks off over here and do a few things, and talk to the club over here as well, and see what they want me to do, and decide after that. Then I'd certainly have decided by the 1st of May whether I'm going back or not.
Okay, we've buckets more questions we could ask you, Cora, but we're up against the clock, aren't we?
I just have one more I have to ask.
Yeah.
Cora, I saw this fan page on Instagram.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I'm still wondering who set it up. I have a few suspects in the club. So I'm the only non-Australian in the team. I'm the butt of most jokes over here. And a lot of the time they can't understand what I'm saying. But there's a couple of suspects within the team that I have my eye on, but we're not sure. No one has owned up to it yet.
Call them out, Cora. Call them out.
Call them out. There's a few. Pep Randall is one. Another girl called Sauce. Alex Saundry is another one. So there's a few. There's a few more as well. But Renee Forth and Emma Swanson could be another two. But I know it's all good banter. The girls have been brilliant since I've come in and accepted me in. It's completely different, obviously, to home, and it's when you're that far away. But we've girls from all around. We've girls from all parts of Australia. I think we've only maybe 6 or 8 that are actually from Sydney. The rest are from Melbourne, Western Australia, Perth, Canberra. So they're all away from home too, which probably makes it easier. So it's very enjoyable. But the fan page, I don't take much notice of it now. That's for sure.
Well able to hold your own anyway.
Just about.
Brilliant stuff. Look, thanks so much, Cora. Really appreciate the chat, and best of luck now going forward. We'll be in touch soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, no bother.
Cora, thanks a lot. See you soon. Yeah, that's Cora Staunton, Emma.
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, what really fascinated me was the disciplinary process. Like the Sophie Casey, the girl in question. Once she accepted the charge, it was 1 game, but if Cora had been more seriously injured or required surgery, she would have had to serve a longer suspension. Very, very interesting stuff, fascinating. Do you think she'll be back?
I do genuinely believe that she will be back. I know she says that she's going to have to see how her body is and how her mind is and stuff like that, but I think Cora will die for Mayo. I honestly do.
Well, hopefully not, but she's been in the wars. I mean, that I think everybody saw the hit on social media, and on Saturday it was our time. It was nasty enough, wasn't it?
It was, and she came back on in the second half and played really well, and like she's unstoppable, is she?
Yeah, it's really good, and fair play to Sonia O'Sullivan as well. She was in touch with us on social media as well over the weekend. She was there to lend a hand and lend some support.
Indeed,
as well.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear that from Cora as well. What her coming into the dressing room, speaking and doing the sing-song and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
no, it was class. No, great interview, and we thank Cora for her time as well, because she's busy, and it was late where we contacted her from as well. I suppose I'm looking ahead to the weekend. We have Dublin and Mayo.
Of course, yeah, moving on nicely to that. No Cora, Mayo. I suppose, yeah, interesting, another double header this time down in Mayo, so it should be a good one. It has all the kind of attributes to be a tasty game anyway. Yeah, the Airsport cameras will be down for that one as well. The second of 3 games that Airsport are showing. Dublin 3 from 3, top of the table. Cork and Mayo hot on their heels. We can safely assume that Dublin are through to the semi-finals, but this would probably cement it if they could get a victory over Mayo. What are you expecting from Mayo? I think it'll be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen Mayo play yet this year. Kind of, they've been without a few names and stuff over the last few weeks. I think they'll come gunning for it. It's a repeat of last year's final look, and they kind of want to put that out to bed. I suppose the last few minutes of that final in Croke Park was tough for them. But then again, Dublin, look, they're clinical and they'll do anything to keep on winning. Yeah,
like they did a good victory against Cork at Croke Park as well. Dublin, some people suggesting that might be the final.
You reckon, of the league?
In September, maybe, perhaps.
September,
looking further down the line, it could be the two of them. Donegal as well put a big score on the board last weekend.
They did, yes.
They're an interesting project. They blow a little bit hot and cold, but when they fire, and there was no Geraldine McLaughlin last weekend either, and they scored 9 goals.
Bonner's playing brilliant stuff. 3-6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last weekend, yeah. Super stuff. So yeah, Donegal, look, new management in as well. That kind of brings a bit of freshness, and Maxie Curran sounds like a man on a mission. And I think the girls are all really buying into that this year as well. So look, they were disappointed last year. They didn't get further. They fell at the quarter-final stage of the championship. It was, and very disappointed with that. And a lot of people had tipped them highly. So I'd say this year could be a big year for them.
Yeah, Monaghan Donegal is on Sunday, Dublin Mayo Saturday. We also have in Division 1 Cork and Westmeath on Sunday, and Kerry Galway. You'd fancy Cork to take the points. Like Westmeath were competitive against Dublin, and then they were blown away by Donegal. So there's probably the reality with Westmeath is somewhere in between. They're pretty decent side.
Yeah, look, they're coming up from Division 2. They had a decent campaign. Obviously, wasn't it Division 3? They did well in a few years back, came up into Division 2, won it after a replay last year against Cavan. So look, hopefully they can hold their own in Division 1, but it's a tough kind of set of teams up there, and it is a challenge.
Kerry Galway is an interesting game as well.
I think that's a good game. Kerry are kind of they've kind of had a mixed bag as well, so I suppose that could be an interesting one too.
Like Galway started well, and then I would have expected maybe that they'd go and lay down a marker against Mayo.
Yeah, Kerry had a good win against Mayo as well, so look, I feel that could be nearly the game of the weekend. Yeah, so it's a wide open division. Like
Westmeath are a little bit cut adrift. You wouldn't give up hope on them getting out of it just yet.
No.
Monaghan are off the mark. Kerry are on 3 points, and you've Donegal and Galway on 4. Mayo 6, Cork 6 and Dublin 9, so it's shaping up nicely.
Yeah, definitely. It's Division 1, there's always kind of ups and downs, and even looking at last year, like there was some crazy results, like teams are going and winning by crazy margins one week and then getting beaten kind of shockingly the next week, so it all adds a bit of excitement. It's nice.
We have the Gourmet Food Parlour O'Connor Cup is in progress as well at the moment, and there's a quarter final down for decision this evening in Belfast. It's Queen's against UCD, and the winners play DCU, who are showing good form.
Of course, yeah. So DCU beat Queen's already, so they've secured their spot. And
UL are also through to the weekend as well.
So look, UCD, they won it 2 years ago, I think. So there's a few girls still involved from that team, and look, Queens have a few names as well. So hopefully that'll be another big game. But look, someone has to win it. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It should be interesting. I can't look past. No offence to any viewers out there, I think UL are going to be very, very hard to stop, although DCU beat them in the league final. They're apart on opposite sides of the semi-final draw as well, so DCU, UL, I suppose, they'll be the bookies' favourites to get through, but
that rivalry,
who knows?
It'll
be interesting. How do you think things are shaping up in general this season? Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I am big time. I always enjoy it, but no, I think it's really interesting. Even looking at Division 2 of the league, I'm from Cavan myself, so I'd be keeping a close eye on that. And there's 5 or 6 teams that could win it outright. If you look at Tip coming up from Division 3 last year,
really well.
Unbeaten again this year, as of now, and they're really holding their own in Division 2. And look, I'm really excited to see how Tip get on, even going into Championship. Like, they'll shake things up in Munster rightly.
Yeah, they're going to have a 4-county Munster Championship with Waterford, Kerry and Cork there as well. Tip are 3 from 3 in Division 2, so they've made this step up. It just shows it can be done. Exactly.
Like, look, you're looking at Cavan, Armagh, who are down from Division 1 this year. Cavan have been there the last few years, kind of thereabouts. You're looking at Tyrone, who were in the intermediate final last year too. So I think Division 2 is really tasty. Yeah.
Have you enjoyed your first stint in the hot seat? You'll be taking this show going forward now.
I don't know how to feel about it. I wouldn't be that fond of the camera, but look, sure, love chatting away, it's grand.
Excellent stuff. So I'll leave you to sign off. We'll be back next week with more ladies football chat.
We will indeed. Well, look, thank you very much for tuning in, and we really, really enjoyed the chat with Cora, and thanks very much to Jackie for popping in as well. So we'll be back next week with more ladies football chat. Thanks very much.
See you again soon.